Going into the 2025 draft lottery, the Philadelphia Flyers were in the 4th overall position. Coming out of it, they were jumped not once, but twice by the New York Islanders and the Utah Mammoth, dropping the Flyers down to the 6th overall position. While it wasn't a disastrous drop, it did put the Flyers in a worse position than before the lottery balls were called. The general consensus for the 2025 draft is that there are about 6 prospects at the top of the draft who have the highest potential. After 6, there's a drop-off in talent level or projectability with the next group of players. So Philly was lucky to stay within that top 6, but it's at the end of that tier. The draft could go any number of ways, but at the 6th spot, they'll be left to select from a group of maybe 2 or 3 players rather than having their pick from about 4 or 5 players. But it does sound like there might be an opportunity to move up in the draft. In the weeks following the draft lottery, some talk has emerged that Utah might be open to trading the number 4 pick. And if that pick is indeed available for trade, Danny Briere should 100% try to move up. Before I go any further, I want to invite you to come to the BSH and PHLY draft party happening this Friday, June 27th. It's going to be held down at Chickies and Pete's at 1526 Packer Ave. I put the link for tickets in the description of the video. $5 gets you in the door and some food, or you can pay $55 for a 3-hour open bar, and you can meet and greet and hang out with Flyers legend Bernie Parent. All the door money for regular tickets goes directly to Snyder Hockey. Come on out, it's going to be a really great time. And finally, if you haven't already, please hit the subscribe button to the BSH YouTube channel. Subscriber count really does matter to us a lot, as it helps us keep the lights on and helps us to continue to throw events like the draft party and the Festivus party in December. Thanks. Back to the video. The case for moving up from the 6th pick to the 4th pick could be argued pretty simply. Move higher in the draft, and you could get a better player. That's obvious. But there's even more urgency to it in my mind. First off, let's look at the players who are ranked at the top of the draft. It's expected that Matthew Schaefer will go at number 1, then Michael Misa at number 2. After those, 6 of the next 8 players who are most likely to be drafted are centers. And the Flyers are in desperate need of talented center prospects. Move up to 4, and you basically have your pick of the litter. Stay at 6, yeah, you can still get a center, but will the most high-end ones be gone? Will your favorites be gone? The Flyers would be at the mercy of the teams picking 3, 4, and 5. Just last week, Danny Briere spoke at a pre-draft press conference about just how hard it is to acquire first or second line centers in this league.
Or calling around the league, finding centers, it's almost impossible. And forget, you're not going to find a first line or second line center. They're hard to find. So if we have the chance, we want to start, and we started that a couple years ago. We're going to start drafting them and grooming them. And
like Briere said, getting a first or second line center is almost impossible. And even if they did just acquire Trevor Zegras on Monday, it's still not enough depth at the center position when the only other center in their pipeline with top 6 potential is Jet Luchenko. For Briere to acknowledge the difficulty in getting top centers, surely he must realize that this might be his best chance to get another one. And with all of that said, I haven't even mentioned 2 other factors that create even more urgency for Briere. 1, there's a very good chance that the 3 teams drafting ahead of Philly are most likely going to draft centers as well. And 2, the 2 teams around the Flyers pose a serious threat, Nashville at 5 and Boston at 7. Nashville, Philly, and Boston all have the same desperate need in their prospect pools: talented centers. On Monday, The Athletic put out a ranking of each team's current center quality. Boston ranked 30th, Philly was 31st, and Nashville was dead last at 32. If Utah is seriously considering trading the number 4 pick, Philly wouldn't be the only team looking to move up and grab one of the better centers. Nashville and Boston are probably thinking the same thing, and only one team can do it, so it's worth making sure it's you. To add more fuel to the fire, Scott Wheeler of The Athletic confirmed as much in a tweet on Tuesday, saying that the Bruins also have interest in moving up, and his sense is that the Flyers and Bruins like the same 3 players: Martin, O'Brien, and Higgins. Luckily for the Flyers, they have a ton of draft ammunition to dangle to Utah in a trade. They've got 3 picks in the first round and 3 picks in the second round. But Nashville also has 3 picks in the first round this year. And both Boston and Nashville have current NHL players they could offer up to Utah, who seem more focused on adding current NHL talent rather than more draft picks. It might not be easy, but the urgency for Briere is absolutely there. Now let's look at things from Utah's side. The big rumor going around is that Utah really likes center Brady Martin and might take him with the number 4 pick. The big thing with Martin is that he hits a ton, and a lot of teams are dreaming that Martin could be their version of Sam Bennett, who just won playoff MVP last week, scoring 15 goals and being an absolute menace on the ice. But Martin is generally viewed as a player with less skill and upside than the other centers. And the public rankings have him below the other centers who are expected to be available at 4. So if Martin is the player that Utah covets, they can probably stand to trade back a little bit, get some more assets in the process, and still get the guy they most want. How realistic is a trade of the 4th overall pick? Utah's GM, Bill Armstrong, has admitted on record that he's open to trading it. In an article by Belle Fraser of the Salt Lake Tribune, Armstrong is quoted as saying, "Whether we're picking at 22 or we're picking at 4, we're going to explore everything, from moving back to moving up to trading." That said, the Mammoth GM has tried to throw some cold water on the idea that they're definitely going to take Martin. In the same article, he goes on to say, quote, "In this day and age, bloggers want to really write about that we teed in on one guy, and it's not the truth. You go there to the combine to meet the entire range of where you're picking. We just had somebody tweet that it was a certain player, but the truth is, with the range that we're picking in, we're going to search out and find as many players to have extra time with, especially with the importance of that pick." So will Utah keep the pick? Will they trade it back? I really can't imagine we'll know until the moment they're on the clock on Friday night. The opportunity exists, and so does the need for high-end center talent in Philly. If they can move up to 4 and it wouldn't create a gaping hole in their future outlook, they should absolutely do it. So whether the Flyers move up to 4 or stay at 6, it's going to be a really exciting draft for the Flyers this weekend, so stick around at BroadStreetHockey.com and our YouTube channel right here. We'll be covering every last bit of it. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you soon.